Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. Y'all really be hemming me up. There's like so many different crazy things going on in the world right now. But you guys really, you send me questions and you send me subject matters that you may want me to touch on. And quite honestly, there's been one rolling around for a minute, and that have kind of thrown people off kilter. And oh man, I didn't really know if I was going to touch on this subject because I know it can be pretty touchy, uncomfortable. Not necessarily uncomfortable for me to talk about, but I think uncomfortable to sometimes present because people can take offense to it, and I know people kind of step away from speaking on it. But I will tell you this, I'm going to talk about it because I feel like it is important, and I feel like there are plenty of people that need to hear this. So it's been going around. You guys know, there's many different speakers, preachers, and, just talking heads and, these incredible orators that I love listening to and hearing their wisdom on things and really causing me to look at certain things and use my own discernment on, a lot of personal things and things that may be going on in your life and things that you may need to step away from and all of that. So I'll just kind of give like a little back review. As far as we're going to talk about spirituality and that realm, I guess you could say. For me, being raised in a Christian home, and I don't mean, there's a lot of people that say they're Christian, and I know I've kind of touched on this a little bit. I know there are people that say that they're Christian, and we see that all the time, and we don't see them, doing Christian things. I mean, for goodness sake, there's white supremacy groups who call themselves Christians. I was raised in a truly sanctified, Bible-believing, speaking in tongues, Holy Ghost come down on you home. Okay? Put another layer on top of that of being West Indian. So y'all know my parents are both born and raised in Jamaica. My dad is from Kingston. My mom is from Montego Bay. That within itself can be a lot. It can be pressure. It can be, and when I say pressure, I mean not in necessarily a bad way, but pressure to really keep yourself in line, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely can create stigmas as well. And I'll touch on that as we go along. So there's a lot of discussion about witchcraft, and there's a lot of discussion about the occult. There is a lot of discussion, especially when it comes to music. There's been a lot of stuff circulating about this as of late. I know a lot of people like to put different artists in these categories of, are they worshiping the devil? What are they doing? And I know Beyonce has been a conversation for that, as well as many other folks. I know Lil Nas was being accused of many things when he had so many things going on with one of his songs, and him having certain demon imagery in his videos and things like that. Okay, all right. Here's where I'm at with it. Well, here's where I was with it. I always thought things like that were very harmless. Not that I think demons are harmless, no. But I never felt I was in the space to be like, oh, I would succumb to any of that, because, like I said, I was raised very, very, I wouldn't say overly religious so much, but I was always taught to know God for myself. And that was instilled in me, and that was always something that I that I grew up with, and the first years of that is kind of by, because this is just what you know, but then being in situations where I know that only God could have plucked me out of. And I've talked about several of those things on this podcast in the past, where I was not in certain areas when ridiculous things went down, and where I know that was God keeping me out of it. It wasn't even my personal discernment. It was just something not working out and me not ending up somewhere, and then some kind of foolishness, tragedy went on, and thank God I wasn't a part of it, different things like that. There's been enough of those things in my adult life that I know God is real. Nobody is ever going to break me on that. I went through a time in high school and college where you have people around you who are believing in all these different things and trying to find their center and all of that. And I'm not going to, give out all the details of that and name names or whatever, but they may listen to this and the respective people know who they are. To me, especially at that age, the high school and college, and even in your 20s and beyond, but especially those ages, you are searching. We are often searching for the meaning of life. We're searching for discovering who we are as individuals. We're embarking on that next level of adulthood. And that high school, college age is a very impressionable time. It's when a lot of organizations will come and approach you to be a part of them because they can do all these different things. It is the height of when you're just trying to figure out your life. It's the height of when a lot of organizations want you to partner with them. They want you to become a member. Because it's such an impressionable age. It is also an age where you can help to guide people in the right direction, if only you have the right people on the helm that don't have nefarious intentions. So it is a very vulnerable, I would say is a good word to use, time in your life. You can be vulnerable at any age, but especially then, it's so much. So speaking about when it comes to music, we always see things that happen in the music business, tragedies, this, that, and the other, and people always say, oh, they sold their soul to the devil, and that's why XYZ thing happened, that's why they're going through whatever, and whatever. And you can easily believe this, and you can easily fall victim to a lot of things in business, in the music business, in I'm going to say entertainment business. I don't want to just separate music into that, because it can turn into a lot of different things. Even in the Christian world, you find a lot of almost like rock star Christians, you know. Again, I'm not going to put names on things, but we know a lot of rock star pastors, okay, where you can't tell if they're really a pastor or if they are, a singing sensation, you know. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It can go a lot of directions. I look at the deeds of the person and where their heart is. And that is the piece that I stick with. I'm not going to judge people because they may have a different outfit that they wear or whatever. I'm not going to worry about none of that stuff. That doesn't concern me. It may not be my personal taste, but that sort of thing doesn't really concern me. What concerns me is the fruit. And I think I spoke about this sometime last year. The fruit of what the person bears. That is, and I think that's actually biblical, and I don't remember the verse because I'm not good with verses and all that stuff, but you got to look at the fruit that somebody is bearing. That is more the litmus test of why they're truly here. Now, I have seen some people do collabs with certain artists that I'm like, whoa, why would they do this collab? Why would? It just makes no sense, you know? But then there are some that I'm like, oh, I get it. And people have changed and they have rearranged who they are, and because they just see what they've been doing all this time was not it, you know? We can look at, and I will name names here, you can look at Black China. Black China is going through this metamorphosis that is incredible. If people don't know who I'm talking about, you got to. Black China, also known as Angela White. She is like, listen, I'm not playing these games anymore. She's like, I'm working out. I got my Bible. I'm cutting out all of the extras that I don't need. She went and got all the fillers in her face reversed and the butt enhancements that she had removed, and she was just like, I don't want to be this caricature anymore. And it's incredible. And then there's another young lady too, Alexis Sky, I believe her name is, and she too is like, yeah, I'm done with this Hollywood weirdo, type life of what it can be. I'm not saying everything's bad, but it is a very slippery slope, especially when money is on the line and people get more compromising and, when money is at stake. And there are quite a few Christian artists, whether they fall under music, whether they fall under actors or comedians or whatever it is, that I've seen a lot of compromising with, maybe more than what I would be comfortable with. And I'm like, man, come on, don't let the money get to you. Don't let the fame get to you, because I think you have to be very careful of that. And it's very easy to fall into being very accepting of a lot of things that look glamorous, witchcraft included. Now people are like, well, what about witchcraft? And there's so many mentions in music, that we have to just be careful of. Anytime there are different songs on, let me tell you right now, I love Afrobeats, and I love the music, and I just think it's so wonderful, and the beat and all of that is wonderful. But when they start saying certain words and things that I don't know, that are in a language that I don't understand, I go straight to Google and I do translate, because I want to know what it is that I'm dancing to. I want to know what it is that I'm singing along with. I don't just arbitrarily sing along with stuff. And I do tend to analyze words very much. You guys know I'm a bit of a wordsmith myself. Wording is very important to me, and what you say out of your mouth is very impactful. And there's a lot of power in words, So I do analyze that much more than I have been in the past. man, I would say maybe 10 to 15 years, I've really been paying attention to, especially with music, because you guys know music was, I would say, probably my first love in life. And I really do pay attention to clever writing and songs and things like that. So I really am very sensitive to that. And a lot of the stuff, that I start analyzing and doing, translates on. It's very easy to use like a Google Translate or whatever it is on your computer or your phone, and you translate some of these songs, and they're talking about spells and all different types of deities and things like that we think are so harmless because it's just a song or it's just a story, and I have really been trying to break those things down. I would say in the last decade, and walking away from certain things that are too comfortable in that space, whether it's music, whether it's writing, people. I've found out over the years that there have been people that dabble in that life, and I'm like, what? I would never think that. You hang with them all the time and they're cool, and so I'm like, man, that's really something. So yes, I do believe, somebody else said, what do you think about all of this stuff that's going on right now? And, like astrology and astronomy and, all this sort of stuff. Astronomy, of course, is the study of the atmosphere and the stars and the alignments and all that sort of stuff. But astrology is based not necessarily on fact. It is based on, okay, how do we align with those things as human beings? And sometimes we allow, the movement of the stars to dictate what we do in life. Sometimes we allow, something as simple as tarot cards. I remember in school, I didn't even think about this. I remember because I grew up going to a Christian school in grade school, and I remember they banned tarot cards. Somebody came to school with tarot cards at one time, and they got called to the principal's office, and the tarot cards were banned. And there was this game, and I think they still sell it now. It was like an 8-ball that you could turn over, and it had water in it, and it had like this floating block on the inside, and you ask it a question and you flip it over, and the block would come up to the window, would float to the top of the window and would give you an answer. But they were all generic, very generic, type answers or whatever. And of course, as a kid, you're not thinking that they're generic. You're thinking, oh my goodness, this thing is really telling me, that I like little Johnny, or something. We really thought it was something truthful about it, when of course it was just a by the way, type of thing. But I remember in grade school that all stuff within that vein were banned, and you could get suspended from school for having those things. And I remember the principal at the time collecting these things up from students, so anything in that vein where it was tarot cards or it was those little origami games that were, you write questions and answers on them, any type of prediction, type stuff like that. Now, I will take it a step further. Do people have that extra layer of discernment? Do people like mediums and things like that? Absolutely. For sure. The fine line of that is when you know that you have that intuitiveness, and you take it and you start using it in a way that is not good. Trying to find a more sophisticated way to say that, but you don't want to have, because there are portals, and I know a lot of people don't. I know some people just don't believe in any of this stuff. there are portals, and there are some portals that are not meant to be bothered. There are some portals that you are not meant to touch, that you are not meant to. That just scared me. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I have like this little spray thing that goes out like once an hour, and I haven't heard it in a while, and it just popped up. One of those air fresheners that pop up. I gotta shut it off. But anyway, there are portals that we are not meant to disturb. I'm gonna say disturb because I think that's the word, disturb. But we do anyway because we don't even realize how subtle a lot of these things are. So you go to the store, a place like Spencer Gifts or something like that, and you pick up a pack of tarot cards, or you pick up, a Ouija board, or, any of these things. And they are so dangerous over time. And, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but just hear me out. They're so dangerous over time because what it does is that it makes us comfortable. It makes us beautify witchcraft. And if you are a Christian, you already know that this is going to be problems. It beautifies something that we need to be vigilant about. That's the issue. I'm not saying that if you have these things that, you're doing witchcraft. No. What I'm saying is it softens your heart to things that can be very problematic down the road. So you may have a strong mind and you may not fall for all of these different things out here, but the everyday average person who is just searching and trying to find their identity and trying to grab onto some sense of normalcy because maybe they didn't grow up in a home where there was both parents. And some people grew up in a home with both parents and both parents could have been trash. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. So many people don't grow up in great environments. So they come out into adulthood searching. There's this song by, I think it's Roy Ayers, and it's actually a song that I actually love, and I have it in like one of my playlists on Spotify, and it's called Searching, and that's literally the song, and that's the chorus of the song. It's like searching, 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 and when you hear the music, it sounds like somebody who is searching. The music is very cool. It's very calm. It's very, where do I go next? Where do I navigate next? What do I? That is the crux of the song. And I get it because I've definitely been in that space. Now I will say this, and I think it's very true, still stands today. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Not a lot of people are going to be able to come up to me and say, let's go run to Guyana and drink this punch out there. If you guys know the reference, I'm talking about Jim Jones, and sadly 900 something people passing away because they were following this, cult and all that sort of stuff. Listen, you gonna have to drag me into something like that, but it wasn't because the people weren't intelligent. It wasn't because they were, dumb or whatever a lot of people like to say. No, it's because they may have been searching for some sort of meaning and for some sort of something. And then you have someone like a Jim Jones that comes in and takes advantage of that opening, that weakened link within them. And then they get sucked into this life, because people always wonder how people get sucked into that stuff. And we think that it's so hard to do. It's not. If you are in search mode, if you are trying to figure out where you are and trying to be like, you know what, man, I don't know what I believe. I don't know. It is very easy to tap into that. So when I say the entertainment business and this, the whole selling of the soul to the devil and all that kind of stuff, when you have compromised a piece of your soul, it becomes much easier to open up that portal, because that portal could be very weak for you, or a place where you be more lax in, and it's very easy to penetrate that and then find certain things acceptable that may not be. You know what I mean? Once you start to practice, oh, well, that's not that bad, or, oh, we can give allowances. The more allowances you give for things that are not positive or of God, or however you want to, phrase that, is the more lax you will be down the road. You'll be more accepting. When you start accepting the fact that you're only getting B's in school, you're never going to try for A's, because I'm happy with a B. A B minus is going to get me to where I need to go. No, you should be striving for an A. That doesn't mean you're going to hit the A every single time, but you still should be striving for that. But people tend to be like, oh, I'm happy with the B. I'm happy with the B minus. They're just happy, just coasting. And that is where enemy activity can start. That is where we become very compromising. If you are a Christian, if you if you're in the entertainment business and you're like, okay, am I going to do R&B, or am I going to do gospel? Am I going to do this role that has me, with no clothes? Am I going to curse? Am I going to do this? There's many different things that will test you all the time. There are certain actors, actresses that have said, because of their faith, there's just certain roles that they won't play. There's just certain things that they will not do. And I respect that. Does it mean that they're going to get less roles? Probably. Does it mean that they're going to get less money? Probably. But a lot of those folks who have said that have gone on to be extremely successful. And I really believe that God will bless them somewhere else, because not every role is for you. Not every song is for you. It's very interesting. I know this is a lot. I might do a part 2, because it actually kind of got me fired up right now, and I don't want this to go more than 30 minutes, so I will try to keep it to that. But let me tell you, the bottom line is this: people are going to believe what they believe. People are going to do what they're going to do. And what is discernment for one person is not going to be for another. So I don't want this to come off like, a judgmental sort of thing, because trust me, I'm still in the middle of trying to figure this out. But I'm sharing this because I was asked several times, and I've been avoiding, touching on this because, I really didn't want to get into the more religious side of things. But when I survey the people, just based on emails that I get and DMs that I get and things like that, I know I do have a pretty large faith-based population who listens to my podcast, and even if they're not religious, they definitely are spiritual, and spirituality is very important to me. And I know this may not be for everybody. I may lose listeners, and that's okay. No hard feelings at all. I just want to my whole point of doing this podcast was to share things that I have experienced in my life and things that I deal with on a daily basis. It's kind of like my, daily or weekly vlog, you could say, of, a woman in business and, my company. So, like I said, I may do a part 2 to this. It's possible. I don't know yet. I have to think about it. But yeah, let me know what you think about all of this. The entertainment business and media and all of that, which I deal with every day because that is my business. Let me know what you think about that when it comes to compromising and, people being a part of these different circles. And what do you do when you're presented with something so amazing, but it may cause you to compromise your beliefs and your stance on certain things? Where do you go with that? How do we discern what is good and what is bad when it comes to, especially in business, and then personally as well? So let me know your thoughts. If you want to find me online at Onyx Queen Media. Instagram is my most active social media, so find me over there. You can also email me, hello@onyxqueenmedia.com. Bye, you guys. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.